In 1901, crews began the demolition process of the Star Theater on 13th Street and Broadway in New York City. Across the street, in the offices of American Motoscope and Biograph Company, Frederick S. Armitage set up a device that would allow him to capture this process by taking a picture every 4 minutes. By the end of it, the month-long process to destroy the Star Theater was compressed down into 2 minutes. American Motoscope and Biograph Company would then go to distribute the film, creating the Star Theater, or the destruction and building up of the Star Theater. In the early years of filmmaking, the prevailing genre was of actualities. These were films that captured everyday events. The very first film, A Train Arriving at a Station, by the Lumiere brothers, is an actuality. It shows an actual train arriving at an actual station with actual people. Actualities allowed for everyday events to be the subject of an exciting new technology, the bounds of which had not been defined. But they quickly would be, and Frederick Armitage was one of those pioneers. By setting up his device that would capture a long stretch of time and compress it down into a small chunk of film, Armitage created an early time-lapse. Eventually, narrative filmmaking would become the primary driver of films, especially in the United States. But these early experimental days saw a lot of really cool concepts created from simple mundane subjects. Of course, I say all that, but the destruction and building up of the Star Theater is not just an actuality. Because when American Motograph and Biograph Company sent out the film, they also suggested that the people displaying it play the film forwards and backwards. So that not only were you seeing the destruction of this theater, you were also seeing it miraculously be rebuilt. Time was not only compressed, but it was also reversed. The reality of the situation, that there was a building that was then taken down, was altered. The actuality started playing with ideas of altering reality. And what I like about that is that it was a collaboration, first between the artist and distributor, and then the distributor and those who were displaying the film. And even today, you can go and you can get those 2 minutes of the destruction and building up of the Star Theater, and you can do whatever you want with them. You can make it so that halfway through, the building is suddenly gone. You can make it an eternal Sisyphean task for those turn-of-the-century laborers. If it isn't obvious by now, I love this film. I first came across it when I was in film school, doing that thing I'm sure a lot of film students do, where they just go online to find whatever historically important films are available. What struck me about it was, while the Star Theater was not a cinema, it was not a movie palace of any sort, that type of building, that building that was dedicated to art, that this new fledgling art was capturing it in this bottleneck of time. And there's something beautiful about this new art form, watching this established old art form's house be rebuilt and destroyed and rebuilt and destroyed. And of course, there is the technological achievement that this was at the time, the historical context. But I also find that there is another thing that draws me to it. Even though this film is over 100 years old, I find it very compelling that not only can I view it and have an emotional reaction to it, and that emotional reaction can change over time, but also that it kind of becomes this testament that the world is always changing, that the fixed points that were created by people and that other people put meaning onto will one day go away. And sometimes you will adapt to that change, and sometimes you will not adapt to that change. But your memory prevails, and you're always able to hold on to a piece of that world that has changed. I find that to be an idea that is worth holding on to. Friends and fellow VEDSies, I will see you tomorrow.